Okay. All right. So yeah, Final Fantasy came out. Germ thoughts.
Dude, it's amazing. I have it
Mm-hmm.
already downloaded. I freed up the space on my hard drive. It's sitting there. I haven't started it yet,
Oh, you're
Mm-hmm.
but
faithful.
I've watched some of the streamers already. I watched Bello playing it. Oh,
Yeah.
the game just looks fantastic. It looks absolutely amazing.
Let's
Like
go.
I just can't get enough of the Final Fantasy, like this whole IP, especially Final Fantasy 7. I have to say the game is absolutely beautiful. A One of the prettiest Final Fantasies I've ever seen, and plus the
Probably
world.
the prettiest.
According to reports, the game.
What is that,
Yeah, according.
Heartless?
What is
This is
that?
Final Fantasy 10 TCG. I'm all about the Final Fantasy.
Oh
Okay.
shit. I think that
According to
needs to be your
reports,
thing now moving forward. You need to start just showing up shit. This every
according to
time we
reports,
mention something, show a
yeah.
collectible.
That'd be
According
funny.
to reports, the game has well over 100 plus hours worth of gameplay.
I'd
Just
imagine so.
that's it. And you can go that even more if you grind out the rest of the game. To platinum the game, you're gonna be doing even more than
Wow.
that. 100 plus hours in just
How many
like
gigs is it?
bare bones. This is not another chapter of the story. So you have a remake, which is like the first chapter of the
How many
original
gigs is that
story,
one?
like disc one. That one's about 20, 25 hours ish.
No, how many
If you just do
gigs?
the story.
Gigabytes.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look. I just
Let me
I
look.
just downloaded it.
I
Let me
think
But
it's
look.
gonna be like a terabyte. By the time you finish out the whole series, Final Fantasy 7,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
and
that's
you
the
finish,
thing. Its reports are confirmed that it's just a piece of the original story as well. So
yeah,
there's going to be a third
Jeez.
one that comes along,
yeah,
maybe a
and
DLC, or at least a third. And yeah,
I heard it
that
was
yeah,
gonna be
at least a
multi-disc.
terabyte. This one's got 2 discs if you buy it physically. So
Oh
So,
my
I
so
got
think
god.
I
about this.
downloaded.
So
So
this game is huge,
yeah,
Jeez.
and
100
it's
plus
only a
hours.
piece of the story. You're spending over a terabyte to experience the Final Fantasy
And
7 story.
what I love about this whole situation is like they have taken a story that was very complex from Final Fantasy VII, the original, and they have just so far expanded on it more than just gameplay. The visuals, the voice acting, the character models, the combat. The combat is it looks so good. I
It
haven't
looks sick.
physically tried it myself, but it is so fast, and you're able to like customize your characters so well with the different weapons and materials. It looks like the perfect game.
Bro.
Maybe game of the year, maybe,
Too soon to
but
tell. I don't want to call
too
out
soon
any
to
games as the
tell.
game of the year.
I'm still shooting my shot with Dragon's Dogma 2, but
But hold up.
well, that is to be seen. But the
Wait.
game looks absolutely breathtakingly good. I could easily see myself playing this over and over and over again for the next 10 years. It looks so good.
The game is almost 150 gigabytes.
Yeah, see?
Bro.
There you go.
Anybody else a Final Fantasy? Bro, listen. Anybody else a Final Fantasy fan in here?
I love the
And
art style, but as a
love
kid, it was
everything about it.
turn-based, and it stimulated my brain back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I grew out of turn-based. But then I'm seeing this new Final Fantasy game, and like you can actually hack and slash things in the real world. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is a different
That's what kind of
experience.
got me excited for this one too, because I'm never a fan of turn. Let me take that back. I was a fan of turn-based games to an extent. So there was a game called Secret of Mana. That was one of my favorite games. There's
Oh yeah.
also Chrono Trigger. If you guys are an OG
Oh,
gamer, you know what
timeless
I'm talking
classic.
about. Those were
Absolutely.
Timeless
those
classic.
are a few of my favorite like RPG. Earthbound was also one of my favorite RPG games. Don't know how I fell in love with that game, but I love that game to death. So, but any other game, it's a turnout for me. I'm not the kind of person to play turn-based games. But then I saw Final Fantasy, but there's two. So my whole issue with Final Fantasy was kind of twofold. One was I thought the entire story of Final Fantasy from 1 all the way up to 15 was a connected
Don't
story.
admit this. Don't admit this. Don't admit this. Don't.
I didn't know.
You're gonna lose the validity to this. No, no, no.
What? No,
Take it
I
back,
don't.
take it
Yeah,
back, take it
he's
back.
not alone. A lot of people think that.
Bro,
A lot of people think
And
that.
that's the
You
reason
can't
why
throw
I
that on.
never played any. Because I'm like, yo, then I'm gonna have to go do homework. I'm not. Then shout outs to one of our viewers, Bello, one of our teammates, Bellows. He kind of explained that shit to me. Like, listen, no, it's two different. There's multiple stories. It's almost like an anthology series, right? And the only one that really has like a continuation is 7. Am I getting that correctly?
10
No,
has a
no.
2,
10?
and then 13 also has a sequel too.
Yeah.
But those are one-offs. That's not.
Right.
So 10 has a 10 too. And
Yeah.
I always thought that 7 had 7, and that what we're experiencing now is a remake of 7. But they also have the prequel, which came out
Well,
years
let
later,
me
Crisis
expand
Core.
on
Yeah,
that.
Crisis Core.
Is
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII has never had an actual sequel to its game.
Yeah,
It's had other media that has added to the
yeah,
lore,
Yeah.
like
So
animes and different things,
that's pretty
but
much what they explained.
it's never had an actual game.
Right.
Yeah.
But the whole continuation, that's the reason why I never played it. But when he explained that to me, I was like, all right, maybe I could just pick up 7 then and play. But now he's telling me I can't play Rebirth. I need to play the remake, then play Rebirth. I'm like,
Yeah,
all right,
because
yeah,
the
fine.
remake is the first the beginning of Rebirth won't make any sense if you don't know what happened. I don't want to spoil it for you,
I hear
but
the devs
something
say you don't
crazy.
have to.
No, you have to. Something hella crazy. Bella will back you up on this, I'm sure. Something
crazy.
crazy happens in the end of the fur remake that you will have to know to fully understand 7.
that's
And
crazy. They just want the money. They want people to buy it, so they
Yeah.
tell people you don't have to.
Another-
You don't
another
have
shout out-
exactly. The dev said that,
another-
not me.
Another shout out I want to say to 7 is I love the art direction they're taking. It looks realistic-ish, like
Mhm.
anime style, but it kept the soul of the original game where it's like just over the top steampunk kind of action, and
It reminds me
I
of
love that.
It reminds me of a polished Advent Children. If you ever watched that movie.
Oh yeah, that movie was dope.
Yeah, Advent Children's kind of what I was talking about. It adds on to the lore.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
does.
different.
Movie was awesome.
Yeah, the movie was
It-
dope. I wasn't a
I
Final
mean-
Fantasy fan then, and I watched that movie and I was like, "Geez, this
Aesthetically,
is
it was awesome, but people
Yeah.
complained. They said the kid that they had, like the story, the characters got bland. Cloud got sad. I'm like, yo, Cloud was struggling out here.
Yeah.
Of course he's sad.
Nobody's
Of course
cried
he's
more
sad.
in all of Final Fantasy other than maybe Titus and
Titus be crying.
Cloud.
I also have this other comment. I believe so what we're experiencing now with Final Fantasy VII, you have to buy the game. You have to buy 3 games to experience it.
Yeah, it looks like it because the original game was 3 discs. Like if you bought
But
it
one
for PlayStation
purchase,
1, it had
one
3.
$50 purchase, you get all 3 discs and you play
So
the
now
game.
they're stretching it out.
Now they're stretching it out. You're paying $180 to experience, and then you got to think about the $100 you spend on the new hard drive you got to buy because of course.
Well, to add on to that though, Harless, like they have expanded on the game so much, it may be worth it. It might be.
I
worth
know.
It. I haven't
know,
played
I
it
know.
yet. It's hard for me to say, but just from looks alone and the reputation of the series,
I'm PC only.
I think
have
I'm.
to wait.
I think I'm gonna like it. You know?
Okay.
I have I have no salt.